facing my monitor, doing my job, even on holidays. I can't think of any that time other than work. May talent ako actually to cry while working pa rin. Kasi kailangan ko nang matapos. Pero umiiyak ka pero matatapos mo. Tatapusin mo yung work. Parang ganun.
Good afternoon, Miss Jamaica.
Good afternoon, Hazel. Hello.
All right. So, can you tell a little bit about yourself so that our listeners can have a little background about you?
Hello guys. So my name is Jamaica Grado. So you can call me Jam for short. So for me personally, I'm more of a listener than a reader. I like going outdoor, doing outdoor activity. At this time, it really is important to show up, meeting people, spending time with them. One of my love language is actually is quality time. To be able to get to know more of the people and spend time and also get to catch up with them, especially with my friends, with my family. It's very important. And since love is actually can be spelled S-T-I-M-E. About me and on my professional career right now, I've been a CPA since May 2017, and I've been working for 5 years now. My first job was in a public practice in a professional service firm, and second now, for more than 3 years, I'm in a private company under food service industry.
All right. So, you mentioned before that you were a senior auditor in one of the top auditing firms in the Philippines. Afterwards, you have resigned and moved on to another company as a senior accountant as treasury lead. So, for my first question, what can you say about the decision of resigning and moving on to a new and different job?
If I remember, the time of or the process of me deciding to leave my job, my first job actually, it took me a while. I sought advice from the people I trust and those I consider mentor. I ensured na it's not just based on my emotion at the moment since baka pagod lang ako, ganun. Baka I was too emotional that time. It's been a while in my mind na to consider it, but I also talked to my counselor since we do have that kind of counseling in our office, and I just mentioned the reasons why I considering to leave or to resign. And it was the time for me na, to be honest, it was more like I was considering better opportunities in terms of balancing things since I don't have much time for myself, and actually considering to leave or to move forward to a next journey for each of us is to consider also what are your needs, what are your wants, what do you want to pursue in the next steps that you wanted to take. And you have to be surrounded with people that you trust that will help you decide the best course of action. Since if it's only you might decide immediately and to the point na it might put you in the wrong direction. So that time, I sought advice, that's first. And to take your time, consider the pros and cons, and do not base it in your emotion. Just make sure that you don't leave with a heavy heart. Magpaalam ng maayos. And doesn't mean, I think, no, I've observed for some of those na considering to leave a company, yung job nila, they don't want it, or parang they hate it, or time na talagang decided ka na to resign, still do your job. Kasi what I've observed, mas nagiging rebel. Kasi resign lang din naman ako. Ganun. I think you still have the integrity to do your job well, even if you feel like you won't stay for too long. Just continue what you're doing. When the time na affected na yung resignation mo and you know to yourself you did your part, you had, then you can go. Secondly, parang it's not just more on your situation. You also consider yung needs mo. Like, looking for other opportunities, better opportunities in terms, mostly the reason will be more on the financial side, how it will better support you and the family, that if you're supporting if you're a breadwinner, or if you're someone who needs to earn more because you're supporting other people in your family, ayan, you also need to consider that. And yeah, I think there wouldn't be enough siguro na parang there's always something to learn in your job or in the line of work that you're doing, but maybe you'll know when it's enough if you can confidently say that as you move forward, you already have you can do better, and you can carry with you yung lessons and then yung experience mo and the gain from that previous job that you had, diba? And the people, it's not just the work itself, but the people that you work with. Kasi they're the ones na yung magiging network mo or connection mo in the future then. Always value that kind of relationship that you built with them. Even now that you don't contact them every day since you do different jobs na in different companies, but at least you connect with them once in a while. That's also part of spending quality time and still connecting with them. So I think for me, when I resigned the company, I am actually comforted that as I move forward, uh, I've earned so much, I've learned so much from the people I've worked with, and I can carry that with me and to be able to teach it to the next people that I will be working with as well.
So did people say anything about that? Like, bakit ka nag-resign? Bakit ka lilipat? Or maybe did people try to stop you from making that decision?
That time actually, especially my family, I would say that they're the ones really being supportive of me resigning my job, of that previous job, since I'm not really spending time with them because most of the time I'm facing my monitor, doing my job, even on holidays. I can't think of any that time other than work. So it just came to the point that my family saw it firsthand, especially when we were on work from home setup since the pandemic. I actually resigned during pandemic. So there was this time, months when I'm at home and doing my job here sa probinsya. Tapos nakita nila how I really work nonstop. So they really encouraged me to consider other jobs that could better that could give me time, not just for them but also for myself. It was a time for me na it wasn't healthy anymore, not just physically but emotionally, of course, because I'm not sure if I think for most of us naman in any kind of job, there will come a point na you'll feel stressed, and your one of the things that you'll do is just to cry. May talent ako actually to cry while working pa rin. Kasi kailangan ko nang matapos. Pero umiiyak ka pero tatapusin mo yung work. Parang ganun. Pero ang important naman is not to give up. And that time, I wouldn't say na when I resigned, I gave up. I could say na it was a time for me to be redirected to another direction, to another place where I could also do other things for myself. It's not being selfish. Kasi you think looking for ways to better yourself is not being selfish. It's actually being also good with the people, with your loved ones. Kasi if you can't give what you don't have, you don't love yourself. You cannot give love to others as well because you don't even know how to love yourself, diba? So ayan. So I think that time people are very supportive of me to resign. Of course, when I tried to discuss this with my boss, she'll say na baka you're just being emotional right now. You can take a break. Actually, nag-offer siya ng break like 2 months, ganun. Kasi para you could consider na after that, you go back, ganun. But that time, I was really decided. Kasi if I thought na kapag babalik ako, it's the same cycle. And I don't want to go the same cycle again. And if you decide, yun nga, have the conviction that there are people na parang need lang din talaga ng break. And that's okay. You can take that as an option. But for me at that time, what's best for me is to really leave. That doesn't mean na I hate what I do, but more like I wanted to move forward to another direction where I can also grow better personally and professionally at the same time. Yes, kasi my previous job, I was working, I was growing radically actually in a professional side of my life. But I know on the personal side, I don't think that I've been really spending enough time for myself. And that also affects my time with the family. And friends as well. Yung tipong hindi ka na nila makakausap, even sa messenger, ganun. And nakakalimutan man silang replyan. Wala ka ng time. But I was blessed actually that my friends are really understanding. Kasi they know eh. They know the kind of the job that I'm into. So thankful ako that at that time, no one really discouraged me about my decision. It was more like everyone is very supportive. And maybe I think if you're in a case where they don't like your decision or not everyone is okay with what you chose, if you believe that that's the right path for you, and if there are people who believes in you, some people, not you, kahit hindi lahat, it's okay. Just move ahead. At the end of the day, they won't be the one na sasalo sa'yo kapag nagkamali ka ng decision. Just hold on to the people that you trust and walk with them. Kasi sila yung tutulong sa'yo all throughout your journey.
So, how did you end up taking auditing as your first line of work? Like, what were the factors that made you decide?
That's a good question actually. Kasi I thought of that before I chose yung job na yun. Normally, the answer will be for a newly passer of CPA for the exam, they would say, kasi ito yung yung usual for the CPAs to go in an audit firm for especially if Big Four, ganyan. But for me, more than that, I decided to take audit as my first job since auditing is one of my weakness during undergrad. And I wanted to challenge myself as I take yung first job ko. Para I know to myself na sa una pa lang, I would train myself the hard way. Pero of course, with great people that I can work with possibly kasi I think naman being in a company where you think na nandun yung mga best in their field, they would really teach you the best things then. Especially if you're in a best team. Not just the best team lead, but also yung sa members din. Your team members would also be a great part of your journey as you start your career. So for me, audit is a good jump start when you're pursuing accounting as your field of work. So, ayan, more of a challenge for me that I took seriously, I guess. And I think wala namang no regrets. Kasi I've learned a lot and yung learning curve din talaga is great. And I would always think when I was there na parang I'm surrounded with brilliant people kasi they think differently. And that's better when you're surrounded with people na put things differently than you. In a good way, kasi they would teach you things that you will normally not think about. They will teach you how their thought process will be. And you will learn from that. Even if hindi nila explicitly i-discuss sa'yo kung paano nila yun naisip, pero you can observe it. If you're a good observer, you would actually learn from them in different ways, in many ways. Just talking to them, spending time with them, sit with them. And then that's why it's really good to have to build relationship during your job, during your tenure in your job. Parang building a relationship is one of the best part being in a company or you're doing your job in any kind of work. You will always have something to learn from them, one way or another.
So, when did you start thinking na maybe you should already start changing direction? Like maybe I should resign na? Like how did you make that transition?
Starting the process of considering to resign to your job, your current job, is I think going back to seeking advice from other people, from the people that you're close with, that you trust actually, that who would help you to make the right decision, not just for the sake of them giving you advice, pero you go with the people. That's why it's very important na you build relationship with the people that you can trust with. I would always say seek advice first and then take time to know the advantage and disadvantage. When you're finally decided, just confirm it again and check with if it's aligned with your goals. And if it's good na, then you can move ahead. You move forward.
After going through all that, what can you say was the number one thing that you learned?
From the process of transitioning to another job, siguro for me is to believe in yourself. Having the confidence that as you move forward, all that the things that you've learned, you can carry it with you and you'll be able to teach them to the others. Sabi nga is, you teach what you know, but you impart who you are. So it's not just on the competent side, but who you are now that made you because of the things that you've experienced so far. I would say no efforts is wasted. Even those shortcomings that you experience, or even those lapses, you can learn from that. Na, I wouldn't do this na again. I wouldn't go this course because it would end up like this, like that. So you would always, you extract the good from the things that you experience. Make sure to also teach it to others. And from that, if that person is really willing to learn from you, they would actually gain something na parang you would really help in their professional growth then.
So for my last question, ano yung masasabi niyong advice sa mga hindi makapag-decide to resign or not, or to just move on to a new and different job?
Siguro for that, ayun, if they can't decide now, don't push yourself too much to decide right away. Take your time kasi when you're taking your time, we actually have time to think it through and it's a process. It's not an immediate decision of a yes or a no because you have to consider na taking one job to another, going from one job to another. If you're someone na you think you would stay to the next course or job that you will be going to, you have to really consider since for the next months or years, I would have to be doing this job, this kind of job, mga ganun. So, you have to just take your time, seek advice, as I always say, and talk to the people that you're close with and you trust that will help you through the process of this decision. Once you're decided, go for it. So, there's no parang definite answer because it's case-to-case basis. But you have to understand that it takes time and do not base it on your emotion. Have be objective as well, not just subjective na kasi ganito yung situation ko. Not on a situational reason, but more like being objective then in terms of your goals, if it's aligned with your goals. And like for me, one of the main reasons is for me to manage or balance both of my personal and work life. One of our managers actually said na there's no such thing as work-life balance. I only believe in work-life harmony, sabi niya. So, I also agree with that. Kasi you need to come to a point where you think na parang hindi na siya balancing things eh, but making your job also part of your life. And if you come to that point, you're really one of those na parang lucky enough to really enjoy that. So, if you're seeking for a kind of path where you will be in that situation as well, you have to, and then you're in the part where you're still having hard time thinking it through. So just take a small step going toward the direction that you wanted to go and believe that whatever it is, just pray for it. Of course, first and foremost, pray for it. Always to seek God in your decision. That's one of I think for me that's one of the major steps that we are one of the major decisions that we will take. So you have to take your time. Once you get the answer from God, from the people you trust, make the conviction to move ahead.
So ayun, doon nagtatapos ang ating interview ate. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I hope one way or another you guys learn from it.